Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about generic classes and method in Java, which is an important concept in type-safe programming. My name is Anvesha Paliwal, and along with my teammate Arnav Kamre, we will walk you through this topic in a simple and clear way. Let's get started. Java is a strongly typed programming language, which means every variable must have a specific data type like int, float, or string. Now, the problem arises when we want to write code that works with multiple data types. For example, if we create a class for integers, we may need to rewrite the same logic again for a string or other types. This leads to code duplication and inefficiency. To solve this issue, Java introduced generic in Java 5. Generic allow us to write one piece of code that can work with different data types, making our code more flexible and reusable. What is a generic class? A generic class is a class that can operate on different types of data using a placeholder instead of a fixed type. This placeholder is called a type parameter, usually written as T. For example, instead of creating separate classes for integer and string, we can create one generic class and use it for both. This not only saves time but also makes the program easier to maintain. Why use generics? There are several important reasons why we use generics. First is type safety. Generics ensures that we only use the correct data type, which prevents error. Second, it removes the need for typecasting. Without generics, we often need to manually convert data types, which can be confusing and risky. Third, it improves code reusability, as the same code can be used for multiple data types. And finally, errors are detected at compile time rather than runtime, which makes debugging much easier.
Hello guys, myself Arnav. Now I would like to explain the syntax of generic classes. Anvesha must have explained all the theoretical portion regarding generic classes. Now I would like to explain the program portion of this. Now let's understand the syntax of generic class. In Java, we define a generic class using angle brackets like T. Like we define the type parameter inside smaller, less than and greater than symbol. This is the syntax of type parameter actually. This T is called a type parameter and it represents any data type. Means whenever we declare this type parameter, this class becomes a generic class and we can replace this T with any of the data types, means primary data types like integer, double, float, whatever we want to, like string also. Can use any name like E, K, V, like we can name that type parameter with any of the alphabets available. Inside the class, we can use this type like just a normal data type for variables and methods. This approach allows us to write one class that can work with different types of data, making our code more flexible and reusable. This actually makes the code more flexible and reusable because we don't need to modify the program again and again. We can just change this type parameter from here itself and it will automatically get implemented in the main program. Now going further, creating objects of generic class. Now let's see how we create objects of generic class. When creating an object, we specify the type inside angle brackets such as integer or string. Now you can clearly see here box is the name of our class. Okay, I have not written the full program here, just the syntax of declaring the object. Box is the name of the class. Following it, we write the type parameter. Now earlier there here was T actually. We replaced the T with integer because we wanted to uh, wherever we wrote T in the program, we wanted to replace it with an integer value. So we wrote here integer, and keep in mind the first letter of integer should always be capital, otherwise it would give an error. Following it should be the object name as we write in the normal program equals to new box, again class name, and this less than greater than symbol. After that we give this uh, open bracket and closure bracket and this semicolon. So this is the syntax to declare objects of generic class. Now if you want to declare string, so only we need to change this. The rest would be same, just we need to write the string here. And remember the first letter should always be capital. Specify the type while creating object ensures only that type is used. Means this is again related to the reusability and flexibility of the code. This ensures that only that specific type of data type or the variable is used with the object. Because of this, Java provides type safety and we don't need to perform typecasting, which reduces errors. Typecasting means we don't need to write again and again the same code or modify it. That reduces our work also, and it is easy actually to do this. Now we would see an example of this program. Already I have wrote here a program in VS Code. Class swap t. Now here I declared a type variable. And this is the type variable t, ta, tb. I have declared two variables here. I have took a constructor here to initialize the values of x and y. Then I have performed here a function. I wrote a function here, void swapping. In that I have performed swapping, like I took a temporary variable, and the data type of it is also t actually. Means t is our generalized data type here. I will later on replace that t with integer or something else. So t, temporary variable, and I have performed swapping here. Then I displayed the swapped values. Earlier I displayed the original values, now the swapped values. Now our main method will come here. Public static void means string args. Now I would swap. Now our class name was swap. So we wrote swap t. Now in the place of t placeholder we put here integer because I wanted to replace that variable with integer. If I wanted to replace that with string, here I would have put string. So integer, object name, new swap integer. Now we used a constructor there, so we directly initialize the values inside this bracket. So first value, a value is here 3, and x value is 3 and y value is 5, as you can see here. Now object dot swapping, object dot display means we perform swapping and then display. Now let's run this code. Now as you can see here, first value was 3. Here first value was 3, second was 5, and after swapping that value got changed, means our program is successful, and we successfully did this with the use of generic class. Now next. Now multiple type parameters. Class pair k comma v. Now here we will use two type parameters. Like earlier we used only t, like one was there. Now here there would be two variables. So use more than one type parameter useful for key value. Generics can also use more than one type parameters. This is useful when we want to work with two different types of data together, such as in key value pairs. For example, one type can represent the key and another can represent the value. This makes the class more powerful and flexible for data handling complex structures. Like earlier, we only had the option to replace this type parameter with only one value. Now here we can replace this with two different values, like k can be replaced with integer and v can be replaced with string according to the need. I have also wrote a program for that. Now here class pair t comma u. I have took two placeholders here. One is t, one is u. And again I initiated them using the constructor. Now here in the main method, when I am declaring the object pair integer comma string. Now see what I have done here. First, this comma would be as it is. T is replaced with here integer and u is replaced with string, and the rest of the syntax remains same. Object name, new pair, same. And here there was I used the constructor, so I directly declared the values. But here you need to keep in mind the order should be same as you return here, as you replaced. Like first you return here integer, so earlier you need to write an integer value. Second you wrote string, so secondly you should write after comma you should write the string value inside the this commas. Then obj.display. Now let's run this program. So you can see x value is 1, 2, 3 and y value is abc. So successfully we did multi-type parameter program also. Now next. Now bounded generics. Now further we will study the concept of bounded generics. Now what is bounded generics? Now let's look at bounded generics. Sometimes we don't want to allow all data types. Instead, we want to restrict the type of data that can be used. In such cases, we use the extends keyword to define a limit. Means here you can see I use the extends keyword here, that like t extends number. That means that if number is an integer, if number comes under the category of integer, then t also can't go beyond integer. Means t has to be an integer for this program to be correct. Like here you can see in the flowchart, dog and cat come under both come under the category of pet. So they can't go beyond that limit actually. T extends number. This means the generic class will only accept specific types such as numbers or their subclasses. Means for example, if number is already said number, if number is an integer, then t would only consider its subtypes. Means t can only accept the integer variables here. This adds an extra level of control and improves program safety. This can actually be used to make the program more safer. Like you can restrict to a single uh, data type according to your preference.
Advantages of generic classes. Generic classes provide several advantages. They increase code reusability, which reduces redundancy. They ensure type safety, which minimize errors. They allow compile type checking, which improve debugging. And overall, they make the code cleaner, more readable, and easier to maintain. Limitation of generic. Despite their advantages, generics also have some limitations. They do not support primitive data types directly, so we must use wrapper class like integer instead of int. We also cannot create objects of the type parameter directly. Another limitation is type eraser, where type information is removed at runtime, which can sometimes restrict functionality. Real life example. A very common real life example of generic is the Java collection framework. For instance, array lists allow us to store elements of a specific type. If we define array list, it will only accept strings. Generics are widely used in data structure like list, stacks, queue, and maps, making them a very important concept in Java programming.
Now, conclusion. To conclude, generics make Java code more flexible and reusable. They improve type safety and help in detecting errors at compile time. Means using generic class concept, we can easily detect the errors at compile time with ease. They also reduce the need for typecasting and make the code cleaner. We don't need to modify the code, uh, means modify each and every line of the code for converting the data types. We can easily do it with the use of placeholders or variables, which we wrote inside that less than and greater than symbol. Overall, they are a very important feature for writing efficient and reliable code. Thank you. I hope the video was good. Lastly, I would say thank you so much for watching our video. It took a lot of effort for us to make this video. So if you like the video, do like, share and subscribe. And that's it for today.